Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I won't lie, the future of Modern Warfare 2 has me a little worried because I feel like the game so far is not living up to its expectations. It's not living up to its potential, and I'm not quite sure if in the future it's going to turn that around. It's largely dependent on what Infinity Ward wants to do with the game and how they take it and what their design direction is. But I wanted to break down sort of how I'm seeing the future play out and the main troubles, the main concerns that this game's going through right now and could potentially still be going through for the foreseeable future, which is, I think, a little extra concerning this year because obviously this is a quote-unquote two-year game. You know, COD 2024 is the next main new Call of Duty. This year, we're just getting that MW2 sort of expansion update in the fall, according to all the leaks, all the rumors, all the inside sources so far, which could put even more pressure on this game, which is definitely the last thing that it needs right now. So launch of Modern Warfare 2 was, I would say, just all right. Obviously, the game itself did numbers. It broke records with how much this game sold because there was a lot of hype behind this game. But as far as the actual gameplay goes, you know, launch was just, it was all right. It was decent for what it was. There was stuff to play. There were things to do. There were weapons to level up, camos to go for, but it was also still semi-problematic. There were a lot of stability issues with the game right at launch, with super frequent crashes and certain things not tracking and different problems going on there that seem pretty standard for the majority of game launches nowadays, with the exception of things like Elden Ring and God of War, which somehow launched without problems. I guess that's what happens when you delay a game to make sure it's finished and ready in time for launch. But you know, launch wasn't the greatest it could be, but it also was far from being the worst COD launch ever, I would say. Now, we got to Season 1, and admittedly, the Season 1 update didn't really introduce all that many content updates. We got a couple of remake maps in Shipment and Shoot House, which are great for the camo grinds, but in terms of, you know, replayability, they're not the most exciting things in the world. We got a couple of new weapons, which are all right. Obviously, we'll use those throughout the remainder of the year as well, but there wasn't really anything super crazy. Yes, the raid happened during Season 1 Reloaded, but that's largely a one-and-done type deal unless you're sort of a mastery type player who wants to go through and get all the rewards and get all the intel or whatever the case may be there. Personally, I can play that once and be satisfied. I got it. I know the story. I'm good. I'm ready for the next one. So Season 1 didn't really do all that much in terms of content, and it really didn't do all that much in terms of major fixes either. Obviously, there's still, lacking a lot of bare bones things like, working stats and a working win-loss and stuff like that. The game stability is still pretty problematic. Like, there's still a lot to improve upon that we were really hoping the Season 1 update was going to really attack and go after and fix, so that the future of the game, we could just worry about, focusing on the content side of things and not fixing relatively basic things for a COD that is this far along and has been released so many times over the past decade plus, right? And that said, looking forward now, do things really look like they're going to get that much better? Well, a lot of that does land on Infinity Ward, but short term here, obviously Season 2 is coming up. Yet again, we have high expectations for this update in terms of fixes. The Trello boards are full of problems. They're full of bugs and glitches that should be addressed here. We're hoping to see a lot of improvements on that front with Season 2. But again, as far as content goes, the leaks don't really indicate all that much new content so far. We got a couple of weapons yet again. Maps is kind of a question mark. Like, we're not really sure if Castle is going to be a ground war thing, if it's going to be a 6v6 thing, if it's going to be just a DMZ and a war zone thing. It's sort of a toss up there, but still, there's not a lot of promise in terms of new and fresh and unique content there. So a little bit of concern with that. But then you look long-term future. We know for a fact now Modern Warfare 2 is only going to have 5 seasons lasting through fall of 2023. So the content is relatively laid out there. We know basically once a month we're going to see a major update, whether that's a new season launching or a mid-season update. And we gotta basically hope that they actually have new, unique, and fresh content coming in those, unlike what we've seen so far. Otherwise, this game is going to be largely remakes, and then we get to year 2, and that's where the much more troublesome concerns, I think, start to, form, if you will. As we get into this conversation, just a reminder, if you are new to the channel, every single day, I got you covered with all things going on in COD, whether it's news, updates, loadouts, tips, you name it, you're going to find it right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, join us ultimately on the road to 1 million. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. It does really help the channel grow. Let's try and aim for 2,000 likes on this one. So obviously our current seasonal content and our upcoming seasonal content, in my opinion, needs some improvements in terms of content that's going to keep players coming back. You can only get so far with remakes and whatnot, and that's where we get up to the expansion update, which what we know about that so far, it's basically going to be one major remaster or remake update with a bunch of old maps from MW2 2009, some from COD 4, some from MW3, which is great. That's going to be cool. It's going to be nice and nostalgic to play on Terminal and Afghan and Crossfire and Seatown and whatever else they end up adding to the game, right? But that said, it is still maps that we've all played years and years ago, and we've played for years and years. And the thing with remakes is that they're fun at first, but they don't hold players nearly as long as new and unique content does. Now, of course, the COD community is, hey, these old maps are way better than the new ones. Give us old ones. And then they add in the old ones. They're like, hey, stop recycling content. Give us new ones. And then they give them new ones. And it's, hey, these maps aren't as good as the old ones. And it's a never ending cycle of no one being completely happy. And that's just the nature of the beast when COD is as large as it is. But really the main point here is the fact that we're not really seeing a ton of content that is going to help with the longevity of this game, at least so far. Obviously, the player count has dwindled already on this game. It is declining because, one, it's not receiving the updates it needs in terms of replayability or sometimes just general playability with the game's stability and everything going on there. But then two, the content in and of itself is not the craziest, most appealing thing, and it's pretty limited as well. You know, 6v6 doesn't have a ton of options. Ground War doesn't have a ton of options. For modes, we're kind of lacking there. No party games, no other things like that. So there's a lot to be seen in MW2 still. Hopefully, you know, these future seasonal updates will start to be more jam-packed with new and fresh and unique content. They say that it's going to be the most robust content year, which in theory means we should see the most new content being added in. But that's sort of an only time will tell thing. And considering this is a 2-year game, we really need to see that ramp up in content if this game's actually going to thrive and be alive for those full 2 years leading up to COD 2024. And so far, I mean, 6v6 and MW2 multiplayer certainly has not seen a ton of attention or a ton of changes or a ton of communication. Warzone definitely has seen a little bit more, but obviously even that's struggling as well. That's its own whole separate conversation there. But yeah, the future of MW2, I won't lie, is a bit concerning as of right now, just because we know that this game has to last, and in its current state, I don't know if this is a game that could last for that long period of time based on the stability, the functionality of the game, and then also the content within it as well. Would be really curious to see what you guys have to say about this down in the comments below. That being said, that is going to wrap things up for this one, though. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you guys are new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. That way you can always guarantee you are always up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty. But that's going to wrap things up once again. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products. And the links for all those can be found down in the description below. But until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.